The British pound extended the trend higher, extending to 7-month highs, or at least matching them, a day before the UK elections. It's interesting that we saw this rally begin in early September, when the talks of a no-deal Brexit were starting to go out the door and starting to seriously talk about how they're going to make this work or get a referendum in place in order to maybe take it off the board altogether. I think at this point right now, the pound is telling you that there is some organization to the chaos that suggests that if they get a majority in the Conservative Party and they get reelected, that maybe they'll have a chance of putting forth some sort of plan, not that gets them out tomorrow, but that takes them out January 31st and then extends some kind of exit strategy over the next year. When Mr. Johnson believes he can get them out. The opposing Labour Party doesn't believe that can happen. However, we will find out at the polls tomorrow where the people stand. And at this point, it does look like the Conservatives will get the victory, but will they get the majority that they need? And what hindered Prime Minister May back at her snap election that saw her lose her majority when she was expected to hold. I think at this point the pound is very signaling us that there's going to be maybe more consistency, something that they haven't had in the UK going back all the way to 2016 when this whole all began with the referendum to actually leave the European Union. And what effect is this having on the Bank of England? Well, they're going to meet a week from tomorrow. It's kind of in the dust of this election, so it's very interesting. They wanted to hold rates steady, but the path is very unclear, at least how this is all going to work. How this is going to affect business, how this is going to affect the economy. And I think at this point, the BOE is going to remain ready to act, standing on the sidelines, but will probably do very little. They don't want to get involved, obviously, with all the political action that's going on, but will only help if things really start to tank south. You start to see those GDP numbers go down, likewise the price numbers go down. That would be a reason for them to get in. At this point, they want to stand by and be ready to act, but I don't think they really want to do anything. And coming in a week after an election probably is not going to change that. So at this point, the BOE on hold with a very unclear path. We have a Brexit election coming up, and that has really been the focus here. How are they going to get some kind of clarity? And as I said before, Prime Minister Johnson wants to get that clarity through an election, an enactment of a Brexit January 31st of next year, and give himself a year to kind of cushion some of the details. And if he can do that, I think that's probably something that would work. He seems to be getting a lot of naysayers on the other side, so not a lot of optimism behind that. But again, if he holds the majority and they can win the vote, he has a path or at least a platform on which to stand to do it. So pound right now is very strong, but if any of that goes by the wayside, if any of those expectations aren't met, I do expect to see a pullback. Obviously, the floor here, we're well above. We're trading around 132. The floor is going to be 120. That's a long way off, but that was the low we saw back in September, and that's really the level that I think you have to breach if this is all going to go by the wayside and you're going to start to see volatility flying. We may see an extension of this past these 7-month highs. Certainly, we're not going to be anywhere close to the highs we saw just after the announcement in June of 2016 of 150, but I certainly think that a stronger pound here with better stable government, with a plan in action for Brexit, and with something that's actually positive for the people and positive for the country economically, allows the Bank of England to take a step back and not focus on this so much. And I think it's positive for everyone. So again, a lot of this hinges on Thursday's election, which is coming up in a matter of one day. And after that, we'll have to kind of count and see where things fall, where the dust settles, and where the pound goes will be a very quick signal as to the positivity and optimism, if it's still there, and how this trade's moving forward.